ever looked at a difficult quilt or a difficult quilt block and decided it was just too hard to make? Chances are that quilt block has some challenging elements in it, like curved piecing or set-in seams. And I don't know about you, but I don't do curved piecing or set-in seams. So I would like to show you some tricks that I've learned to make these difficult looking blocks very easy. The first block is just your basic four patch block with a circle. So the base of the block is a 4-patch. Generally, these curved pieces are curved piecing and a little bit challenging to do, but I'm going to show you the easy way to make this block. Since this basic block is a 4-patch, you're going to need 2 matching 4-patch blocks. It doesn't matter what size block you want to make, you just need to make sure that these are both the same size. The first thing you're going to do is decide what size you want your circle. These blocks I have cut, they are 8-inch blocks, so they'll finish at 7.5 inches. So I drew a circle that is 5.5 inches. You can make a bigger circle that will fill up more of your block, or you can make a smaller circle for just an accent circle. So the first thing you need to do is draw your circle on a piece of paper, as well as drawing your horizontal and vertical lines in the center of the circle. Then you're going to take your steam-a-seam, or if you'd rather do hand applique, you can use freezer paper. And you're going to take your steam-a-seam and you're going to trace your circle on your steam-a-seam, including the horizontal and vertical lines. And then you're going to roughly cut around the steam-a-seam. You're going to take one of your 4-patch blocks, and you're going to center the circle on the back of the block. You're going to use these lines as your guide, and they need to go on the seam lines of your block. So after you've matched them up as best you can, you'll take your iron and you will gently press. After you've pressed it, and it's cooled, you'll cut out your circle right on the drawn line. Now, of course, if you prefer to do turned edge applique, you will need to allow for a 3/16 to a 1/4 inch seam allowance for turned edge applique. So after you've cut your circle, you'll peel your fusible web off the back of your circle. And you'll turn it so that the colors are contrasting. And then you'll press it in place. And it's as easy as that. You'll get that curved edge look without the curved edge piecing. Now, at this point, you can either blanket stitch around it by hand or by machine, or you can do a small zigzag, whichever you prefer. But that's the easy way to make this fun block. So that's the basic 4-patch block. Here's another basic 4-patch block where I've added some 4-patch smaller square in the center. Now, traditionally, you would have a couple of seams in this block to get this look, but if you take 2 matching 4-patch blocks and you cut your square out of one of the blocks, it was like this, you just need to rotate it 90 degrees and you press it on there like that, then you'll have no seams you have to worry about. You can do this with a lot of different shapes and a lot of different sizes. This is a 1/4 square triangle block with the circle in the center. And to make that block, you'll need 2 matching 1/4 square triangle blocks. You'll take one and cut a circle out of it, and then rotate it and press it on, and you have this very cool look. You can also do it with a pinwheel block. This is your basic pinwheel block. So you would need 2 matching pinwheel blocks. Cut a circle out of the back of one, and you'll rotate it and press it on. And it looks very cool and it looks very hard, and only you will know that it's very easy. This one is my favorite block of all. This has the circle, but also the circle cut out of the center of it. This block is called a wagon wheel block and traditionally is made with lots of curved piecing. But you don't have to make it like that. You just need your 2 matching pinwheel blocks. You'll cut your circle out of the one block and you'll rotate it, press it on, and voila, very easy. So this is a really fun way to make fun quilts that maybe have a little bit busier prints mixed with kind of almost some solid prints, because the contrast is what really makes this quilt and this quilt block work. I'm going to show you a couple of examples. Like I said, you can make this block pretty much any size. These are 6-inch blocks that are sewn together to make a 12-inch block. And I actually hand appliqued these circles. So I cut my circles out of freezer paper, then prepared them for turned edge applique and just appliqued them on the pinwheel blocks. And as you can see, these have a lot of contrast, so it's very striking and very impressive. This is another example of the wagon wheel block, and it's just bigger. And I also did hand applique on these blocks. And again, you can see the contrast really works with the polka dots and the almost solid colors. And together, they're very fun to look at because there's a lot of movement and it's colorful and it's just a fun block to make. This is an example of a quilt that one of my coworkers, Denise, made. And she actually, when she cut out her circle out of this fabric, she very carefully cut the circle out of the center. I just kind of cut and not really worry about it, but she very carefully cut the circle out of the center, and then she stitched it into the corners of her blocks. And she did it with machine blanket stitch, her circles onto her pinwheel blocks. So this is a really fun way to add a little bit of interest too, is by taking the centers of these circles and putting them in the corners of your blocks. So I hope that when you look at blocks like these, that you won't be discouraged, that you'll look at them in a different way and maybe try this technique. And you can do it with squares, diamonds. You can play around with it and find lots of different ways that you can make these fun blocks that look very difficult but are really very easy.